This is one of those rare events where you're going to run out of room in your stomach before you run out of room in your budget.
Welcome into another episode of Morning Edition. Queen City News Now anchors Julian Sador, Andy Satowski, Jason Harper, and Queen City News Now meteorologist Ted Phaeton all in the house talking about one of our favorite things. It's not news, it's not weather, it's food, y'all.
Food.
Taste of Charlotte.
Always.
There's not enough time in this podcast to talk about the food that we talk about every commercial break.
I'm hungry already.
Jason, we were going through this menu. We had a chance to try the lobster mac,
Y'all,
from Cuzzo's.
that line last year
Oh,
was at least 2 football fields in the middle of a hot summer day.
Dang.
That was ridiculous. That was just some of the things we were looking at. There's like over 100 menu items, Julian. I should have known you were going to write some down too. I mean, we may have missed some news stories earlier in the show because we were so busy doing our journalistic research. But like truffle shuffle burger, lobster mac you talked about, Hong Kong sticky ribs, wash it down with some beignets.
Washing it down with beignets. Never ever.
I gotta balance
words
it out.
been uttered before. It's not what I think of when I think of beignets. But no, seriously, this is going on starting on Friday. So we're going to be out there. If anyone is up in the Uptown area, come and say hi to us at our Queen City News booth.
Yeah.
But one of my favorites from years prior, I didn't get to go last year. I was out of town. Baby Moon, I think. So that was fun. But it's Aroma, the Indian Grill. They came out with a really good rice curry. That was my favorite from the previous year.
a little rice curry action. Ted, do you have a favorite one?
I don't venture into Uptown enough, so I don't necessarily have a favorite one, but this is my excuse to just try all the variety of the cuisines,
Yep.
right?
Mhm.
Or anybody
is
who
good
does
for
it.
exactly. If you don't have enough time to maybe go into Uptown a lot or have date nights, or maybe you're looking for ideas for date nights, it's kind of where I take those notes and I get to sample some of the different vendors. I go, okay, take the wife there,
Right.
Okay, a little too pricey for my blood, or whatever it might be. It's just a great opportunity to get the taste of Charlotte as it's literally made.
Well, sometimes you don't want to jump all in. Let's say,
Yeah.
I want to try Caribbean. I
Yeah.
don't know if we're both going to like it. I don't want to go all in. So you can taste a little bit of this, and you're going through, all the list of things that are on there, Joey. My gosh. And it smells so good. Like every block that you walk to, not that it's all themed out necessarily, but you go from the Caribbean to, like you said, Annie, Indian and Mexican, and then some soul food. And then, oh my gosh, it's so good.
It is delicious. And so they have an app that they use right there. You can buy coins, you can pay the vendors right there, and it's not bad. I mean, so let's see here. So $10 gets you 7 coins, right?
Okay.
And for that, let's go back, if I can go ahead and pull this up here, the menu, and show you guys what you can get for that price there. So for 2 coins, right, that gets you berries and cream from Miko. Or for 4 coins, you can get an heirloom tomato gazpacho with spiced North Carolina shrimp. I mean, that's just, it's affordable. And you get to try a bunch of things. The problem is, Jason, I feel like we encountered this last year, man. If you just continuously try, you get to the point where you just can't even walk around anymore. You get the meat sweats. You're sweating out there.
Need a little whack.
Right. The lanes get heavy.
This is one of those rare events where you're going to run out of room in your stomach before you run out of room in your budget.
There you
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Wait, put it, Ted.
You know what? Honestly, that's true. Because last year we were so full, my wife and I, we had like 17 coins left over.
Just give them to strangers.
That's it. And
Yep.
we were like,
go.
we can't eat or drink one more thing.
That's
Otherwise,
hard
we're
to
going to sleep on the street. I know, crazy, right? But that's how much we ate. Yeah,
It's a
We had
good
really
time. And there's a food competition aspect to it, too. So it's really fun to see those restaurants getting the awards that they deserve. And, based on what people say. So, yeah, it's a fun time. You kind of follow your nose.
Oh, go ahead.
Really quick, I was going to say there's twofold for Taste of Charlotte, because not only do we get to have the food and experience, but also everyone that comes out that says, hey, the viewers, we get to spend some time with you walking up and down. We meet so many people, take a lot of pictures, actually get to have these stories and get contacts with who's waking up with us early in the morning every single day. So it's a great opportunity for that as well.
For fun.
Just saying hey and getting to meet each other.
Ted, that is very sweet. That is very sweet and sentimental. Guys, I do want to let you know something.
Julie's like, yeah, but we're moving on.
I want to let you know something, though. I want to direct your eyes to the screen because I'm about to bring it in right here. I found something, guys.
Oh.
A birria roll.
A what?
From K Fresa.
Oh, like
a birria roll for 3 coins.
Is that like
Just 3
like
coins?
quesadilla, like
you
that kind of stuff?
Exactly, but I have no idea what that is.
We're gonna find
but
out.
for 3 coins, I love birria. It's a roll for K Fresa.
Nice accent,
right? La birria.
You gotta really
roll it all right there. And then for just 2 coins, tres leches. Come on. Come on.
They missed it. They should have made it 3 coins. Tres leches.
Oh, I see where you're going. I see where you're going.
Okay.
Well, this is like a trip around the world. You don't really have to go anywhere but Charlotte.
There you
You
go.
don't need a passport for this one.
Nope. You get it all right there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and peruse through the menu. We're going to squeeze in a quick break. We're going to come back. More Morning Edition on the other side of this again. Taste of Charlotte. We will see you there. We're going to squeeze in a quick break if I can talk right. All right, we'll be back. Welcome back into Morning Edition. We always say that we're going to bring you guys topics that we talk about during commercial breaks. This is something that I've talked about with, I think, everybody in the room, but most recently, Queen City News Now anchor Savannah Rudisell and I were talking about social media. Do you guys ever get anxiety posting on social media? I know we have to do it for our job, put ourselves out there, but do you guys ever think about posting something? You have pictures in the week, it's like, does anybody care? Should I post this? What are people going to say? Do you guys ever have imposter syndrome when it comes to posting, then the post is kind of log up there, you're not sharing anything? What's your guys' take on that? Do you guys deal with that, or am I on an island here?
Who's going first?
I think this is the first time that we're speechless. Honestly, that it's just until we talk about this. Honestly, I used to feel a lot of pressure with social media, just to always be posting, but that was early 20s, mid 20s, wanting to seem interesting, wanting people to like what I was posting. And honestly, these days, I don't really care. And I don't know if, the higher ups don't watch this and be like, she's not engaging. It is important for our jobs to engage with people and to put our content out there. So I focus more on that I have 2 separate accounts. I have a private account for just my friends and family and people that I actually know. And then I have the account for work. And so I try to keep that sort of divided, but I don't feel that anxiety because honestly, that's just kind of a boundary that I put up there for myself. I know it's important for people to see that, but that's just a boundary that I set for myself. I've got other priorities. Honestly, I'm chasing around a 9-month-old now, so I'm just like, I don't really have the time, honestly. I'll get better at it, but it's kind of, I think you need to make social media work for you, not the other way around.
I agree. I think of the purpose of the post. And to your point, Annie, for some who might be posting things on their lives, on their private page, that could be received in many different ways. And also, who are you posting for? Are you posting for friends and family? Are you posting pictures of your party weekend and the family from overseas that couldn't attend get to see some of those pictures? Not too much anxiety around that. Now, if you're posting something with a little more intention, perhaps you have a project you're working on or something that's more on the vulnerable side, I certainly can understand and I can relate and also have been in that feeling of anxiety when you're posting something that means something to you, right? There's more of a personal connection. And then that is where I think the way it's received does have more of an anxiety trigger because do they accept me? Do they not? It's my best performing post. And this is me in my authentic self. Nobody's liking it. Nobody's commenting.
So if people don't like it, then do you like, okay,
about me?
Am I off base? Right.
Yeah.
Right. Is my project not good enough?
Yeah. So I think of the purpose of the post. Are you putting something out there for validation? Or are you putting something out there just to share for yourself? If it's the validation side, that's where maybe a step back and a reflection of your relationship with social media. And not saying that it's bad there, but if you can set a clear relationship with social media, you can then protect self. Because I think it's all about treating this thing not just as a fun website that we go to, but an extremely powerful tool. An extremely powerful tool that can connect and make the world smaller, but it can also expose you to things out there in the world that can also hurt you. So you need to protect yourself appropriately there. I don't know if that answers the question specifically, but I think
give Tefe an answer on it.
Yeah.
There
was some science.
That was very Teddy-like.
There was some science base to it.
Harp, how do you feel, man?
Man, I just took a bunch of notes over here. I don't even know where to start. So I know you're not surprised.
Nope.
I'm going back to something, Annie, that you said a while ago, and this is where I made a mistake years ago, is I absolutely blurred the lines between my professional and personal life. I wish I could go back, start over. I'm not going to do it. But I wish I had, because there's I'll start getting engagement from people that follow me because of work. Maybe it's a news story. Maybe it's something we talk about here on this podcast. And then the next day I'm posting, a picture of my mom, like today. Happy birthday, Mom. And so like it's a lot of craziness, and people that don't really know us, they sometimes like to peer into our personal lives, not in a creepy way, but just like, oh, we see them as news people and we get to see their personal life. And so I can see going back and forth, but I've just watered down so much of what the message is over the years. And I have made the mistake of trying to be all things to all people, that you end up diluting whatever it is you're trying to do. And so, yes, I still have PTSD from years ago, from mandatory. You got to post.
Yeah.
Been there.
And so the quantity was more important than the quality. And it just, there were so many messages that there was no message. You know what I'm saying? And so I stopped. And so I sometimes have a little bit of anxiety, and it's not because of, am I worried about what the outcome or the engagement's going to be? It's, I have so many options. What am I going to post? Do I want it to be serious today? Is it something I heard in a message at church? Is it, I've got 500 photos and videos from our trip 2 weeks ago that I have not even posted. And I open up my camera roll and I get anxiety going, is that one post? Is it 15 pictures?
Yeah.
And so I just back off. I get paralyzed. Sometimes I do.
The paralysis.
And it's silly.
And maybe that's okay. Maybe you don't have to. And I think that it is nice to share personal stuff, but I think that just has to be a decision in the moment, right? Like I'm doing this because I feel because I want to, and because it makes me happy. That's kind of where I'm at, where I'm like, oh, I kind of want people to see this. Or, I posted my breakfast sandwich the other day because
looked delicious, by the way.
It was so it's been a problem. Scooters, shout out to Scooters. But I posted that because I'm like, this breakfast sandwich makes me really happy. And it's also a smaller company too, that's up in Denver and Lincolnton and Lincoln County. And I don't know, I just wanted to give him a shout out for this breakfast sandwich that makes me happy. No one else but Julian cares. He's the only one that liked it, and that's okay for me because it made me happy.
Yeah,
Jason, I feel you wholeheartedly though on the paralysis, because it's to your point, Andy. It's, I want to share everything, but then it's just like, what message am I bringing? I don't even know there's a message. Is it supposed to be just news content? Because I want to share things from my trip, and I go to post, and I'm like, well, I don't even know what a caption is. So what I'll do is I'll kind of like, okay, I'm going to come back to it later.
Yeah.
The problem is when I say I'm going to come back to it later, then there's something else that happens. I don't want to share that. I'm like, well, I can't share this because I want to share something that happened a week ago, and so I have to share this thing that happened a week ago before I share this thing that happened today, and then I put another pin in that. And then I'm like 3 weeks in, I'm like, I haven't shared anything, and I have no engagement.
It's posting paralysis, and it's a real
paralysis.
It's a real thing, and I think a lot of also is we have to stop equating likes with acceptance
Or worth.
like what or worth like what you just said with the post, Annie. Just because you got one, it still made you happy. Who cares? It doesn't have, not every post has to go viral. And even things like with my daughters, they get upset if something doesn't go viral. It's like, you can't force something to go viral.
Yeah.
That's not real engagement.
I think, and this is something I feel like we've gone towards, like that performance feel. And I'm just saying, when you start to post, there's a feeling of needing to be consistent because you see everybody else who's consistent, right? Yeah. That analysis paralysis, because I want to post this, then I want to post that. And to your point, Julian, now 3 days have gone by. I didn't post that. But what am I doing? And I do think, because social media shows us the highlights of so many other people, we think someone's posting every day. Or maybe you do follow a few pages where they're on every trend and they're on every holiday and they are always on top of it. And the moment you decide to post something for a certain occasion, there could be that expectation of, now I have to stay on top of this. Because I'll tell you, for people who post as much as they do, it is a full-time job.
It is. There are jobs.
And
revolve around posting on social media.
yeah, and we mistakenly try to live up to that standard in our own heads.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with that feeling of that analysis paralysis, because if I post this, like, I don't know if you feel like posting the whole trip, right, Jason? You're thinking, okay, these pictures, I can share this, and then now I have to continue to share this, or do people care? Do they not care? Man, we can go down that rabbit hole even more. But if you're trying to maintain a certain consistency or output, and you haven't approached it with a strategic thought or even laid out the plan, that's where the anxiety comes in. So I go back to reassess your relationship with social media. See what it is that you want out of it, because I want to be like Dr. Dre. I'll put out the hit when I make it, not when you need it.
To be clear,
There
he
you go.
still didn't put out the hit. So, Dre
Can track
reference there.
My last album was The Chronic.
Yeah.
Oh man,
All right. Well, you know what?
I think we should take commercial.
I agree.
That's it.
Right there. We'll squeeze in a break. We'll be back with more Morning Edition right after this. Welcome back into Morning Edition. Our final topic of the day. Drum roll. The kids have it a little bit easier. It got a little soft. Because we talk about this all the time. Jason, Annie, Ted, y'all are parents. Jason's got grown kids.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think? Because I feel like Annie and I talk about it. We've all talked about it. Grew up with tough coaching, no participation trophies. Kids today, it's just different. I don't know where we should even start. Should we start with the elder statesman?
I think so.
Elder state. Okay. Jason.
As the old one used to say. Oh man, it just. Oh my gosh, I feel like generation to generation, the work ethic, the discipline, the entitlement, everything just gets less and less and less. The generation to generation entitlement goes up. I should go. That's the opposite. I mean, I look at the way my parents were. My dad was with me, like you were just saying, Julian. I mean, yeah, if you came in second or third place, well, just tough. You know what? On you. You don't get a trophy. Hey, attaboy. Let's do it next year. Work harder in the summer. Try to get better at whatever. No, nowadays, oh man, I know we're going to get calls and emails on this. Even with my girls, guys, yeah, their skin is too thin. A lot of that responsibility starts on us. Like your job as a parent is to prepare your kids for the real world. Some of that, it's tough. It's ugly. That's the reality, unfortunately, of the world you live in. And so Angie and we have a blended family, right? So we have outside influences that are not within our four walls. That has a lot to do with also the makeup of our girls and how they're receiving constructive criticism. And sometimes you have to say, get up. This is the real world. You're an adult. You're going to make it. Do better. And I could be on my soapbox for days. Guys, this is tough.
I feel like we're all standing on the soapbox. Julian was an athlete in college. I was an athlete in college. So we have these conversations a lot. But going back to something that Jason said about, if you're second or third place, in gymnastics, we got medals that went out. It all depended. But I'll never forget something that my Russian coach said to me: second is first loser.
Oh, that's good accent.
I mastered this over second is first loser. And I was like, all right, I got second place. I was happy with that. That was my personal performance, that I did the best I could. I got second place. That's fine. I digress. I think that, to Jason's point, every generation, we all think the generations behind us are softer than we were. I'm a millennial, so I grew up kind of hearing like, oh, your generation and millennials are killing the economy and we're doing this, that, and the other. I won't go down this road, but we've had it a lot harder than people give us credit for.
Facts.
Lived through multiple life-changing events. But I think that social media probably does maybe play a little bit of a role in
instant gratification.
So when things, aren't happening fast enough or the way that you like them to, we get upset about it. And when I say we, I mean the generations after us. But I think it all comes back to the environment that you're in and how you're raised. And if you were set a good example of like, yeah, this kind of sucks, but that's the way that it is sometimes. So what can you do to make it better? You can, but you also can't teach intrinsic motivation, right? Being motivated within yourself,
right?
To pulling that one out of sports psychology.
Yeah.
Shout out to University of Iowa. You have to be motivated within yourself. So
Yeah.
anything that you're telling your girls, Jason, to do this, that, and the other, it'll work a little bit, but you have to find that within themselves.
Right.
And I think
Can't force that.
I think the intrinsic motivation is lacking these days. Why?
Yeah.
Because things are a lot easier.
Yeah.
Notice that Annie put on the readers, Ted, when you were gone, and now she's talking about intrinsic motivation. So I'm just saying there might be something there with
light glass.
glasses they don't need. But
Welcome
go ahead,
to the
Ted.
dark side, Annie.
Take it in here.
Not to be, I don't think it's a political answer. I don't know if it's
Uh-oh.
easier, maybe just different. And what I mean by that is I think the challenges are different. And we can only imagine what the adolescents and the youth of today's day and age go through in the presence of social media and the hyper awareness to what's going on beyond their classroom. Because of that, there's more of a magnifying glass on certain things of their lives, which is also what plays into a lot of the social anxiety. I can't imagine what the social pressures are at that age, and perhaps those could be harder, leading into more of the sensitivity that we see, that softness that we would call it, right? But again, I say that from ignorance of the reality that they're in. So I wouldn't necessarily say easier, maybe different, a different challenge. Our challenges are not the same. When we have certain standards in certain areas, we know what we went through to have that thick skin. We know what we went through not having those participation trophies and going home empty-handed and knowing, well, tomorrow I want that trophy. I don't think we know what it's like to have an embarrassing moment that doesn't just get posted to your friend group or your immediate school, but the schools across the street and across town and on the internet. I don't think we know what that embarrassment is like, right? So I do want to give a little credit and a little credence to the younger generation of we don't fully understand the challenges that you have. However, when you get into the real world, we also need to adapt in the world that we live in. We need to be able to just be contributing members of society, right? And be able to maintain a job and be accountable and be someone that others can rely on. Those are things I think are foundational and are expected here as we move from generation into generation.
I hear that. I do. And no. And here's the thing, because it goes beyond just when we talk about, sports and participation trophies, because we talk about the real world application. And Ted, you talked about going into the workplace. I feel like we get to a point where because of the participation trophies there, right? Everybody makes a team. Okay. We're not going to cut anybody. Then you get into a workplace and you have to deal with real world situations where not everybody gets a promotion. Maybe not everybody gets a job, right? And so now you're out of college, and we had our chief business correspondent, Taylor Young, talking about this, about how there aren't as many job openings for college graduates now. So now you really have to say, what separates me from the person that I graduated with or graduating from all these different schools across the nation? How am I going to get a job? And it can't just be, well, I made my team in high school. I made I'm going to get a job. No, you have to be able to work hard and deal with that adversity and then say, okay, I didn't get this job or I didn't get this promotion. What am I going to do next to make sure I get the job or get the promotion? Maybe I have to work more than 40 hours a week. Maybe it means I don't get to go out and spend money with my friends on a Friday night. Maybe instead I need to study. Maybe I need to go back to school, get an advanced degree. Do you guys feel like because of that, maybe that extra work ethic isn't there and they don't know how to deal with the punch in the face?
I do.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, we spoke about this. Go ahead.
No, I think that, again, it comes down to foundational things, again, and being motivated within yourself. But sometimes that can be taught through various activities. You have to learn from failure.
100%.
You have to, what is the saying? We learn more from our failures than our successes, 1,000%. So you have to say, okay, I didn't get this job. Let me figure out what I can do to get the next one. Who did get the job? If it's maybe it's an internship, that's a better example. Someone else got the internship over you. Okay, what did they have that I didn't have? Not to copy them, but what do I need to improve on? That's just something that you have to find within. And the only way that you can really learn that if you don't have it is to go through those experiences.
I think
to not have someone coddle you, though. That's the thing. You can't have people who just tell you that you're amazing when you're not.
Don't tell me it's okay when it's not okay.
Exactly.
Don't tell me it's okay when it's not okay.
You don't want to tell kids like you're terrible at this and, because that goes the opposite way. You don't want to have a negative impact, but you have to be honest and say like, hey, you didn't win this one. That's okay. What can you do better next time? You got an F on that test. What do we need to do to get you to get a C if I'm using something other than sports? All I got is sports, guys. Like that's it. But
commiserate with me. Tell me it sucks. It does suck.
Yeah.
But be honest with me. Like, okay, this isn't good.
and work on it.
I have a little bit of parent guilt because I've already got 3 out of the 4 are out of the house, and I'm like, oh, I want to go back. I needed 2 more years with this individual daughter. I needed another couple lessons. You know what I'm saying? And so sometimes they're out of the nest quicker than you want, and you're like, oh, I wish I coulda, shoulda. Anyway, it's our job as parents. We have to help them build up calluses. All right, and that's not a negative thing. Like, there's nothing wrong with having thicker skin and being ready for the real world. And it's like you said, Annie, failure. You got to learn through failure. If you fail a test, not be like, well, you're stupid. It's not that. It's not being insensitive, but it's like, okay, let's backpedal. What happened? Let's go back to studying. Did you study enough? If you didn't, that's where it failed. You got to go back and do better. So we have to help them also have a backup plan. If they didn't get the internship, all right, what are you going to do now? Instead of just, sitting around and sulking all the time, it is
what's
our
next?
job.
What do you do next?
To keep working on and strengthening those interpersonal skills to find you can't ever stop. You can't ever give up. And the other thing that I was talking to my wife about, she's always in retail or recruiting and looking at new talent out there, is they're going to take someone that works harder, not someone that's necessarily smarter. And so you might have the 4-year degree. On paper, your resume may look like you're the more qualified person for the job, but she's going to take someone a little less qualified that has a stronger work ethic, that's not going to give up, that is a problem solver, that has figured out how to
critical
don't
thinking.
stop saying no. Keep going until you get the answer that you want. And, 50% of my daughters don't have that skill. And so you take it personal as a parent. And so you got to just put that into their system so that when they're ready to fly, they just keep looking for answers and solutions and never give up.
I like it.
I think of standards and identity, right? Having that confidence within self. And if you're going to do something, do it to the best of your capacity and try to do your best. Something that we didn't touch on when it comes to the younger generation. And we had a discussion similar to this over the weekend about when it comes to those entering the workforce and some who might not have the same work ethic. We also have the younger generation, a lot of them, let's say a percentage of them, make a lot of money on social media, or maybe it was NIL deals, or there's a bigger gap of wealth in that young generation. So a lot of these kids, comparison is the thief of joy. I will say that. But you are a 17, 18-year-old, and then you're next to a friend making millions, and you don't know how you're going to carve out that path out. Hence the entitlement. You get the job, you're waiting for your 6 figures. Why? Because my friend just 2 people removed, 2 degrees away from me, is making all this money. So that comparison being the thief of joy, who knows what that does to the mindset and into the confidence of self.
Yeah.
That's a very valid point. Why not me? Jason, close it here. Andy and I posed this question to you in the studio, and you started going off, and I wanted to bring it up back here. How do you view people that maybe are like Ted's age, my age, Annie's age? Ted's a little bit older than Annie and myself. See the grays in his beard.
There's the light hair too.
I had to take a jab when I could. No, but do you even feel like it goes to people a few years younger than you, 10 years? I mean, do you even feel like looking at Annie and myself? Did we have it easier than you did?
Easier? I don't know about easier. I mean, you know what I'm saying? There are going to be things that are easier for your generation that I didn't have or that my parents didn't have. And a lot of that maybe that has to do with technology. And we have an ease. We can get things, whether it's products or information, faster than anyone before us ever could. So yes, there are things that are easier. But with that and with AI and with I think that also makes certain things more difficult. When I was a kid in middle school and when my parents, they didn't have social media. So it's hard to say, yes, there are things that are easier. There are things, even just Annie and talking with you, as a mom and the technology, the ways that you can, tap into your daughter sleeping, whether it's viewing a monitor. I didn't have that. So you can't, that's easier to be able to view her. That satisfies your need to check and see how she's doing. That gives you comfort. And that's great. does that make it easier? Or, you know what I'm saying? Or does that add to anxiety through the day because you got to check your phone and look at it? I didn't have to worry about that.
Probably that.
When I saw my kid, I saw my kid. You know what I'm saying? And so there are things that are going to be different that are also on the flip side of helping you out that every generation is going to have to continue to deal with. So I don't know. It's hard for me to just give a black and white yes and no thing. Things are easier.
We do not hurt our feelings, Jason.
Yeah, because we have to sit next to each other. It's okay.
Hit stop and I'll tell you how I really.
With that, we're going to wrap another episode of Morning Edition. As always, thank you guys for joining us. If you don't catch us on here, you can catch us Monday through Friday, 4 to 10 a.m. on Queen City News. But for now, signing off for another episode of Morning Edition. We'll catch you next time.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.